So before I dive into the presentation, maybe I could just give a brief preamble. I'm a professional geologist. I've been in the mining business for over 40 years. Endeavour was born out of the bear market of 1997 to 2003. And if you recall, gold started this cycle back in March of 2001 when it bottomed at approximately $250 US per ounce. By late 2002, gold was clearly marching higher, but silver was still flat on its back at about $4.50 an ounce. So I conceived the idea to start a silver company and effectively go to Mexico and seek out strategic silver and gold assets before the price of silver took off. And it's been a great ride. We're not half done yet. As you pointed out, we have 3 operating mines in Mexico and a great organic pipeline of development projects. So without further ado, Endeavour Silver Corp, driving organic growth. And I will be making some forward-looking statements today, so you are duly cautioned. Some quickie highlights. We're considered to be a mid-tier precious metals producer. We have 3 high-grade underground silver gold mines operating in Mexico. We recently restarted our operations after a government-mandated suspension due to COVID. And our value proposition is basically fourfold. Firstly, by focusing on optimizing our current operations, reducing our costs, and generating more free cash flow, we think we can become once again a sector leader in terms of our cash flow and earnings performance. We'll come back to that point. Secondly, we believe we have the best organic growth profile in the sector with not 1 but 2 new discoveries awaiting development to more than double our production and significantly reduce our costs. Thirdly, we have basically built the company on virgin discoveries in Mexico. Every ore body we're currently mining or propose to mine are discoveries of our exploration group. We did not go out and buy low-grade leftovers of old historic Mexican mines. And last but not least, we're obviously very opportunistic. Each of our current assets were actually acquisitions when they were effectively closed and put up for sale. And what we recognized in each asset was the gross under-exploration of historic districts in Mexico and the ability to make new discoveries and fast-track new mine developments. Last but not least, we are a pure precious metals producer. We only produce silver and gold, approximately 50-50 by revenue. And no copper, no lead, no zinc. I think we're one of the few, if not the only, silver producer with that precious metals profile. And as a result, we have one of the best betas to the silver price in the sector. Core assets are all located in Mexico, with the 3 operating mines at Guanaceví, El Compass, and Bolañitos, the 2 development assets at Terronera and now Parral, and a portfolio of exploration projects in Mexico and Chile. Head offices in Vancouver, and we currently employ just under 2,000 employees and contractors. Some highlights from our first quarter. First quarter was in line with our guidance in January, producing about 1.5 million ounces of silver and equivalents based on an 80-to-1 ratio, 1.8 million ounce equivalents based on 100 ratio. We did finally restart our operations following a new Mexican government decree. And since May 18th, the 3 mines have been up and running. We have had, since early mid-March, COVID prevention and response plan in place at each of our sites in Mexico, and we have yet to record a positive case of COVID. Q1 operating improvements were recorded at each mine. Guanaceví was a significant outperformer. El Compass was close to its plan. We're disappointed with Bolañitos, and it's because we're in the middle of an operational turnaround there. And we expect that turnaround to be complete over the next 2 to 3 months. Moving to the development pipeline, we continue to de-risk our Terronera project. We expect that to be mine number 4. And we have a final iteration of our pre-feasibility study and updated economics coming here in the month of June. Drilling continued in the first quarter at 2 of the mine sites with some new discoveries at Bolañitos in the Mayadito vein and new high-grade mineralization on the El Curso property at Guanaceví, both of which effectively extend the mine lives of those 2 assets. So let's have a quick tour of the assets. We've got a lot to go through, so I'll just touch on each. Guanaceví is our largest mine. It produces almost half of our silver. And excuse me, in Q1, it significantly outperformed plan. However, if we look back at the last 2 years, this was our worst performer by far. In fact, Endeavour as a company, even though it was a sector leader in terms of production growth and cost performance for many, many years, in the last 2.5 years really fell on hard times because our assets effectively got old, deep, low grade, and high cost. We were supposed to have a seamless transition from closing the original mines and opening up brand new ore bodies at each of the sites last year, and it was far from seamless. There's no way to sugarcoat this. It was our worst operating and financial performance in the history of the company. However, having launched sweeping changes at each of the mine sites last year to speed up that operational transition from old ore bodies to new ore bodies, we succeeded, and we can now put a big tick in the Guanaceví box. Here you see both our tonnage performance and our grade performance since Q1 of last year, and both have been marching ever forwards. We do have a 1,200 ton capacity in the plant. We haven't even achieved that yet this year, but Guanaceví, after losing a significant amount of money last year, broke into the black in Q1. And the reasons are shown here with a reduction in our direct costs, a significant increase in our productivity, and it's primarily a result of our improved work culture. So there's the operating costs. You can see they were out of control a year ago, and now they're not only back in the money, they're still falling. Bolañitos, our second mine, acquired in 2007, was for many years our cash cow. From 2009 to 2018, we pulled more than $200 million of free cash flow out of this mine, but it also, for the same reasons, fell on hard times last year. It basically got old, deep, and narrow, and therefore high cost. We didn't launch the transition or operational turnaround here until Q3 last year, and it does take about a year to complete this type of operating transition with new leadership, reduced workforce, new equipment, revised mine plans. It was basically a clean sweep to hit the reset button on Bolañitos. We're almost there. We're in about the 6th or 7th inning of a 9-inning ball game. You can see our January, February, March, and May grades improving on the chart shown here. And that's simply a function of the changes that we've made. As a result, we do expect that Bolañitos will break through into the black here in the next 2 or 3 months and continue to drive costs down through the year. Plant capacity here is about 1,250 tons per day. We barely made 900 in Q1, and we expect to see that number go to 1,100 in Q3. Our third mine is actually our newest kid on the block. It was only commissioned in March of last year. El Compass is located in the famous district of Zacatecas, and we have 2 key properties, the Compass and Calicanto properties. There's 2 ore bodies in production, the Compass and Orito ore bodies. You can see pictured here the main access ramp to the Compass ore body. And Compass is thankfully boring. There's not a whole lot to say. It's just basically chugging along at the existing plant capacity. And the only area we'd like to tweak better is the grade performance. As you can see, the grades were below our plan, and we'd like to get them back up to plan, which we expect to achieve here in Q2. So those are the 3 operating mines, and they give us great and growing leverage to not only a rising silver and gold price environment, but to a declining cost profile. Moving now to the development pipeline, Terronera, first up, is truly our next core asset. It's a district scale opportunity, over 16,000 hectares. We've done now 2 and are about to announce a 3rd iteration of a pre-feasibility study to put Terronera into production. And once up and running, it will be our largest and lowest cost mine. And with the initial production rate at about 6 million ounces of silver equivalents, it would effectively double our current production. These are the numbers released last year, and you can see that this project really stands apart from many in the silver sector. On a NAV basis, net present value, $118 million, after-tax IRR, 23.5%, payback period just over 5 years. All of those are pretty plain vanilla financial performance numbers on that particular iteration of the economics. But look at the costs. And this is effectively a silver gold ore body where the silver gold ratio, revenue ratio is about 2/3 silver, 1/3 gold. And taking the gold as a credit against the cost to produce the silver, basically the silver is free on a cash cost basis, and even on an all-in basis, $1.36 per ounce, net of the gold credit. So we're very much looking forward to advancing this mine to production. There's the 12-year production profile, front-loaded because we have a super high-grade second discovery in La Luz, averaging 1.2 kilos per ton, and we've put it into the first 3 years of production. So the grade profile shown in the blue line on the chart left starts at 543 grams and declines to 263 grams. And keep in mind, these are not resource grades. These are diluted production grades. So this is a fabulous, shallow, thick, and rich ore body. Upcoming catalysts, basically we were finalizing the economics this month. Our Director of Project Development has strongly recommended we go to full fees only because it's less than a year and less than $1.5 million to get there. And in the meantime, we'll start looking at the debt financing package to move this project forward. We'll go to the board sometime this year for their development decision and hope to get going on long lead items actually before the feasibility is finished. Specifically, if we have appropriate first tranche of financing, we can certainly get going on building the camp, on lopping off the top of the hill where the plant shown conceptually here is located. We need to move about 200,000 yards from the hillside down to the tailings dam. And there's about a 2-kilometer long main haulage way that we want to get started on. Well, all of these long lead items could be started this year. The second new discovery is also a famous district in Chihuahua called Parral. It's actually much easier to get around in than Terronera. Terronera is basically a mountainous rain belt, whereas Parral is pretty much an arid, rolling pasture land, if you will. And it's potentially a 6th mine. It's not yet in the economic evaluation phase, but we do hope to have our first economic study by the end of the year or early next year. This mine until 1990 at Veta Colorada was producing 4 million ounces a year. There's actually 4 historic producers here: Veta Colorada, San Patricio, Palmilla, and Cometa. We already are sitting on about 45 million ounces of silver equivalents, and we think we can significantly grow that this year and next. It's currently sitting quiet because we shut down the drilling due to the COVID crisis, and we'll resume work here in the 3rd quarter of this year. Our mission, our goal, very simply is to bring Parral back after Terronera is up and running at about 4 million ounces a year where it was historically. Last but not least, through our exploration team in the bear market, we've assembled a portfolio of 3 world-class prospects in Chile. People say, you're a Mexican silver miner, why are you exploring in Chile? Well, it's really simple. We do want to grow up and become bigger and better as a company and ultimately break the small miner mold. And for us to accomplish that, you either go out and buy something big or you find something big. And because of our exploration expertise, we chose the finding route. So in the last several years, we've not only assembled but explored 3 great world-class targets. Those targets are Cerro Marquez, which we originally thought was going to be gold silver, but turned into a bulk tonnage porphyry copper play. Paloma, which is a true 5 million ounce high sulfidation gold silver target. We'll be drilling that one in the 2nd half of this year. And Aida, the Bolivian style low sulfidation epithermal target up in the 3 corners of Chile, Argentina, Bolivia. It's not yet permitted for drilling, so we'll drill that in the 1st half of next year. So these are obviously high risk, high reward exploration targets, but we believe that just delivering on one of these would be a game changer for the company. All of that adds up to a sector-leading organic growth strategy. 3 operating mines with a falling cost profile in a rising price environment give us great leverage to higher and higher cash flow and earnings. 2 key development projects, one of which is already permitted and ready to go at Terronera. The other, Parral, is moving into the economic evaluation phase, and 3 world-class prospects for drilling. Cap structure is 142 million shares out. That's about a $400 million Canadian market cap, listed on Toronto and the big board in New York. decent working capital position at the end of the quarter at high 20s millions of dollars. Cash position was around 15, and we expect to exit this quarter at the same level or better. The VanEck GDXJ index fund owns about 6%, and the largest silver miner in the world, Fresnillo, has a 2% toehold in the stock. 9 analysts cover the stock. And you can see there on the lower chart the sector-leading beta to silver. So to wrap up, our 2020 catalysts to create value, both short and long term, are to complete the sustainable turnaround of our operations so they're once again generating cash and adding to the treasury. Obviously expanding our silver resources through continued brownfields acquisitions and exploration. Advancing our development pipeline by completing this final iteration of the PFS and going to full fees, and then starting to look at our debt package. And advancing Parral from the advanced exploration stage into the development pipeline. So when you buy Endeavour, what you're getting is basically a mid-tier silver producer. We're an experienced management group. Every ore body that we are currently mining or propose to mine were found by our exploration group. We have a great organic growth profile, strong balance sheet, no long-term debt, and we have amongst the best leverage to silver in the business. Thank you very much.